The cabin hums with the white noise of engines at cruising altitude. Passengers settle into their routines. Some sleep, others scroll through phones, a few read paperbacks. Seat 14A sits by the window. Colonel Sarah, Ghost, Chen, 45, dressed in worn jeans and a faded navy sweatshirt, stares out at the clouds below. Her short hair is graying at the temples. Her hands, calloused and steady, rest on a dog-eared copy of a technical manual she's not really reading. There's something about her stillness. Not the stillness of relaxation, but of someone who has learned to conserve every ounce of energy. Her eyes track the horizon with the practiced gaze of someone who has spent 10,000 hours reading the sky. 3 rows back, for men in their late 20s to early 30s fill seats 15D, 15E, 16D, and 16E. They wear military-issue haircuts and carry themselves with the controlled energy of fighter pilots on leave. Captain Jake, Raptor Morrison, 32, square-jawed and confident, leans across the aisle to his companions. Raptor, grinning, "I'm telling you, the barrel roll on that third run was textbook." Commander Hayes about fell out of his chair. Lieutenant Marcus Viper Washington, 29, shakes his head with a smile. "Viper textbook? Brother, you nearly clipped the tower. That's not textbook, that's a court-martial waiting to happen." The other 2 pilots, Captain Alex Sling Rodriguez, 31, and Lieutenant Emma Flash Kim, 28, laugh. Flash Hayes told me afterward he aged 10 years in 10 seconds. Raptor, mock offense. That's called pushing the envelope. That's why we fly F-35s and not cargo planes. Sling, there's pushing the envelope and there's licking the stamp. Man, you were definitely licking it. They laugh, drawing annoyed glances from nearby passengers. An older man in 17C turns around with a stern look. They quiet down, but the energy remains. Ghost's mouth twitches, almost a smile. She's heard this conversation 1,000 times before. Young pilots, fresh from a training exercise, still buzzing with adrenaline and invincibility. She turns back to the window, watching a thin contrail streak across the sky far below. The pilots have settled into a more subdued conversation, comparing notes on their most recent exercises. "Viper, you know what I can't stop thinking about? That briefing on the 08 red flag exercises. The instructor kept talking about this one pilot who... Flash, oh God. Not this again." Viper, ignoring her, "No, seriously. They said there was this pilot, call sign Ghost, who pulled maneuvers they'd never seen before. Defeated an entire aggressor squadron single-handedly. They changed the training protocols because of her." Raptor, skeptical, urban legend. "Every base has those stories. Sling, not a legend. My instructor at Pensacola flew against her. Said she was the best he'd ever seen. Better than anyone, male or female. Said she could make an F/A-18 do things that defied the manual." Flash, so where is she now? This mythical ghost? Sling shrugs. "Retired, I think. Or maybe she never existed. That's the thing about ghosts. Viper, she existed. I've seen the after-action reports. They're partially classified, but you can find references if you know where to look." Ghost, 3 rows ahead, closes her eyes. Her jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Flight attendant Jessica, 38, approaches the pilots with a practiced smile. "Jessica, gentlemen, ma'am, I need to ask you to keep it down a bit. We have passengers trying to rest." Raptor, apologetic, "Sorry about that. We just got back from exercises. Still a little wound up." Jessica, warming, "Military?" Viper, "Yes, ma'am. Marine Corps. F-35 squadron out of Miramar." Jessica, genuinely impressed. "Thank you for your service. My brother flew Hornets back in the day." Flash, "What was his call sign?" Jessica laughs, "Crash. He was notorious for hard landings." They all laugh, more quietly this time. Jessica, "I'll tell you what. Next drink round is on me. But please, keep it down for the other passengers." Raptor, "Yes, ma'am. Thank you." Jessica moves down the aisle, pausing at row 14. "Jessica, can I get you anything? Han? Water? Coffee?" Ghost looks up, her expression neutral but not unfriendly. Ghost, "Coffee. Black. Thank you." Jessica, coming right up. As Jessica walks away, Ghost's eyes drift to the overhead compartment across from her. A small American flag pin on someone's carry-on bag catches the light. A younger Ghost, 29 years old, her flight suit crisp and her eyes fierce, strides across the deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln. The roar of jet engines fills the air. She climbs into the cockpit of an F-18 Super Hornet, her helmet reflecting the Pacific sun. Her crew chief, a weathered sailor, gives her a thumbs up. Crew chief, bring her back safe. Ghost. Ghost grinning. Always do. Ghost blinks, the memory fading. Jessica returns with the coffee. Jessica, here you go. We should be landing in about 90 minutes. Ghost, thank you. Ghost sips the coffee, her hands steady as rock. The pilots have ordered drinks, whiskey for Raptor and Sling, beer for Viper, vodka tonic for Flash. They're more relaxed now, the edge of their earlier excitement smoothed by alcohol and exhaustion. Flash, you know what I wonder? What happens to pilots like Ghost? Like, you're at the absolute top of your game, the best in the world at what you do, and then... what? You retire to some desk job? Start teaching? Sling, some go into test pilot programs. Others go private sector, defense contractors pay well. Raptor, thoughtful. Must be weird, though. Going from that to normal life. How do you go back? Viper, maybe you don't. Maybe guys like that, people like that, are never really at peace with it. A moment of silence as they contemplate this. Flash, raising her glass to Ghost. Wherever she is. All to Ghost. They drink. Ghost hears the toast. Her expression doesn't change, but her grip on the coffee cup tightens slightly. Ghost stands at the small sink, splashing water on her face. She looks at herself in the mirror. The lines around her eyes, the gray in her hair, the scar along her jawline from an ejection incident no one talks about anymore. She touches the scar, remembering. Alarms blare. The heads-up display flashes red. Ghost's face is calm but intense, her hands moving in controlled precision across the controls. Ghost, into radio, mayday, mayday. Engine 2 is gone. Copy, hydraulics failing. SAR is en route. Radio voice. She pulls the ejection handle. The canopy explodes away. The ejection seat fires. Ghost grips the edge of the sink, steadying herself. She takes a deep breath, then another. The face in the mirror hardens into resolve. She opens the door. Ghost walks back toward her seat. As she passes row 15, turbulence hits. She stumbles slightly, catching herself on the headrest of seat 15D, Raptor's seat. Raptor, looking up, concerned. You okay? Ghost, fine. Thank you. She continues to her seat. Raptor watches her go, something nagging at him, but he can't place what. Ghost settles back into her seat. She pulls out her phone, a worn smartphone with a cracked screen protector, and scrolls through photos, pictures of aircraft, her old squadron, a photo of her in dress blues receiving the Navy Cross. She stops on one photo, herself in the cockpit, giving a cocky salute, the name Ghost stenciled on the side of the fuselage. Viper pulls out his own phone, scrolling through something. Viper, oh man, check this out. He shows the others his screen. It's a grainy photograph from a military forum, an F/A-18 with Ghost written on the side. Flash, where did you find that? Viper, Aviation forum. Someone posted a thread about legendary call signs. This came up. Sling, leaning in. Can you see the pilot? Viper, zooming in, not really. Just a silhouette. But look at the victory marks on the fuselage. 6 kills. That's unheard of in modern combat. Raptor, suddenly serious. Wait, 6 air-to-air kills? In what conflicts? Viper, Gulf War 2.0, some classified operations in Syria and Yemen. At least that's what the forum says. Half of her record is still classified. Flash, a woman with 6 confirmed kills. Jesus, we're flying the most advanced fighters ever built, and I've never even seen enemy aircraft except in simulations. Raptor, different era, different wars. Viper, reading, says here she also has the record for most successful electronic warfare interventions in a single deployment. And she pioneered some of the tactics we still use in F-35 training. Sling, she literally wrote the book. Flash, so what happened to her? Why did she retire? Viper scrolls, then frowns. Viper doesn't say. Just says she left active duty in 2015. Medical retirement, maybe? She'd be in her mid-40s now. Raptor glances toward the front of the cabin, that nagging feeling returning. The plane shudders again. More turbulence. The seatbelt sign chimes on. Pilot VO. Over intercom. Folks, this is Captain Reynolds. We're hitting some rough air as we begin our descent. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. Ghost is already buckled in. She watches the wing flex outside her window, the small movements and adjustments. Her eyes track everything. The angle of descent, the changing cloud formations, the distant lights of the city appearing below. Captain Reynolds, 55, and First Officer Martinez, 38. Work the controls. Warning lights flash on the panel. Martinez, we've got a hydraulic pressure warning on System 2. Reynolds, calm. I see it. Switching to backup. Martinez, backups engaged. Pressure stabilizing. Reynolds, good. Keep an eye on it. We'll run the checklist on final approach. The turbulence worsens. Passengers grip armrests. A few nervous murmurs spread through the cabin. Jessica, calmly moving through aisle. Everyone please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Ghost's expression hasn't changed. She's been through worse, far worse. But her hand moves instinctively to her lap, fingers moving through muscle memory, phantom controls only she can see. The pilots have gone quiet, professional instincts kicking in despite the alcohol. Flash, this is more than normal turbulence. Raptor, listening. Engine sounds normal. Probably just rough air from the mountain ranges. Sling, looking around. Everyone's a little nervous though. More alarms. Martinez, we've lost hydraulic system 2 entirely. System 1 is showing fluctuations. Reynolds, more tense, damn it. Contact approach control. Declare an emergency. Martinez, into radio. Approach, United 1847. Declaring an emergency. We have multiple hydraulic failures. Request priority landing and emergency equipment standing by. Radio, VO, United 1847. Roger. You are cleared for priority approach. Emergency vehicles will be standing by. Say souls on board and fuel remaining. Martinez, 182 souls. Fuel for approximately 40 minutes. Captain Reynolds, VO. Over intercom. Calm but serious, ladies and gentlemen. This is the captain. We're experiencing some technical difficulties with our hydraulic systems. As a precaution, we'll be making a priority landing. There's no immediate danger, but we'll be landing sooner than planned. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for landing. The cabin erupts in nervous chatter. Some passengers pull out phones to text loved ones. Others grip their armrests tighter. Jessica and the other flight attendants move quickly through the cabin, checking seatbelts, securing loose items, their training overriding their fear. Ghost sits perfectly still. Then, she unbuckles her seatbelt and stands. Jessica, rushing over, ma'am, you need to sit down. We're preparing for an emergency landing. Ghost calmly, I know. I need to speak with the pilots. Jessica, I can't let you do that. Please return to your seat. Ghost, firmly, but not unkindly. I'm Colonel Sarah Chen, United States Marine Corps, retired. I have 10,000 flight hours, including 300 carrier landings and 15 emergency landings in damaged aircraft. I can help. Jessica stares at her, processing this. Jessica, the cockpit door is locked. I can't just, Ghost, call them. Tell them Ghost is on board. They'll understand. Jessica hesitates for only a moment, then nods and picks up the internal phone. Raptor has been watching. His eyes widen. Raptor, to the others, urgent, that woman. Seat 14A. Viper, what about her? Raptor, she just said her call sign was Ghost. All three what? They unbuckle and stand, moving into the aisle. Jessica is on the phone with the cockpit. Ghost stands nearby, projecting calm authority. Jessica, into phone. Captain, there's a passenger here who says she's offering to help. She says she's Colonel Chen. Jessica's eyes widen. Marine Corps pilot. Yes, sir. Right away. She hangs up and looks at Ghost with new respect and relief. Jessica, he says to come up immediately. The 4 young pilots arrive, crowding the galley. Raptor Colonel Chen? Ghost turns to face them. For the first time, she allows herself a small smile. Ghost Marines, I'm going to need you to sit down and stay calm. Help keep the other passengers settled. Flash, awed, you're actually her. You're Ghost. Ghost, simply, I am. And right now, we have a plane with hydraulic failures that needs to land safely. Can I count on you? They all straighten, military bearing returning despite the civilian setting. All 4, yes ma'am. Ghost, good. Sit down, belt in, and project confidence. These people need to see calm professionals. Can you do that? Raptor, absolutely, Colonel. Ghost nods once, then turns as Jessica unlocks the cockpit door. Ghost enters. Reynolds and Martinez both glance back, surprise and hope mixing on their faces. Reynolds, Colonel Chen? I saw you receive the Navy Cross at Miramar in 2011. I was flying C-17s then. Ghost, moving to stand between their seats. Captain, what's your status? Reynolds, both primary hydraulic systems are failing. We're on the backup, but it's fluctuating. Flight controls are sluggish. We've got about 15 minutes to landing. Martinez, flaps and landing gear may not deploy normally. We might have to do a manual extension. Ghost's eyes scan the instruments with practice speed, absorbing information faster than most people can read. Ghost, airspeed? Martinez, 280 knots and decreasing. Ghost, wind at the field? Reynolds, 15 knots, gusting to 25. Crosswind. Ghost, nodding, you're going to want to come in hot. Don't slow down too much or you'll lose control authority. Keep your speed up until the last possible moment. Reynolds, that's a longer landing roll. We might run out of runway. Ghost, you have more runway than I ever had on a carrier deck. You'll be fine if you commit. Hesitation will kill you, literally. When I say commit, I mean plant it and don't second guess. Reynolds and Martinez exchange glances. Reynolds, will you talk us through it? Ghost, every step. Martinez, you handle the checklist and gear extension. Captain, keep your hands on the controls. I'll call altitudes and speeds. We land this as a team. Both pilots copy that. The 4 pilots have returned to their seats but are sitting forward, alert and focused. Other passengers notice their demeanor, military bearing showing through, and some find it reassuring. Flash, quietly to the others. She's up there right now. Ghost is flying our plane. Viper, she's not flying it. She's guiding them. There's a difference. Sling, same difference. She's the best there ever was. Raptor, then we're in good hands. Approach control, VO, United 1847. You are cleared for straight-in approach runway 27 left. Wind 270 at 18 gusting 25. Emergency equipment is in position. Martinez, United 1847. Roger. Cleared approach 27 left. Ghost, gear down. Martinez flips switches. A grinding sound, then nothing. Martinez, gears not extending. Going manual. He reaches for the manual extension handle, pumping it repeatedly. After agonizing seconds, 3 green lights appear. Martinez. Counted. Gear down and locked. Ghost flaps to 15. Reynolds flaps 15. Slow response, but they're moving. The runway appears ahead. Emergency vehicles lined along the sides. Lights flashing. Ghost 4 miles out. Speed 240. That's good. Hold it there. Reynolds 240. Holding. Ghost 3 miles. Sync rate 700 feet per minute. Increase power slightly. Reynolds, power up. Ghost, good. 2 miles. You're slightly right of centerline. Small correction left. Reynolds makes the adjustment. Ghost, counted perfect. 1 mile. Speed 220. Don't let it drop below 200. Martinez, we're going to be hot. Ghost, that's the plan. Trust the aircraft. Trust yourself. Reynolds, sweat on his brow, copy. Passengers brace. Some pray. Others grip hands with strangers. The 4 pilots sit ramrod straight, professional masks in place but hearts pounding. Ghost, half mile. 500 feet. Speed 210. Runway's yours, Captain. Plant it firm and don't float. Max brakes on touchdown. Reynolds, Roger. The runway rushes up. Lights blur past. Ghost 100 feet. 50. 40. The wheels touch down hard but controlled. The nose drops. Reynolds slams on the brakes. The plane shudders violently. Ghost, calm, spoilers full. Reverse thrust if you've got it. Reynolds, reversers deployed. The plane decelerates rapidly. Runway markers flash past. The end approaches. Martinez, we're not going to stop in time. Ghost, yes we are. Hold the brakes. Hold them. 500 feet from the end of the runway, the plane shudders to a stop. Silence. Then, Reynolds, breathing hard. We're down. We're safe. Martinez, exhaling, Jesus Christ. Ghost, simply, good job, gentlemen. That was textbook. Applause erupts. People cry, laugh, hug strangers. The tension breaks like a fever. The 4 pilots are on their feet, clapping harder than anyone. Raptor, shouting over the noise. That's how it's done. Fire trucks and ambulances surround the plane. Emergency crews stand ready, but it's clear no evacuation is necessary. Reynolds and Martinez unbuckle, both reaching to shake Ghost's hand. Reynolds, Colonel, I don't know how to thank you. Ghost, you just did. You listened, you trusted your training, and you committed. That's all any pilot can do. Martinez, where did you learn to handle emergencies like that? Ghost, slight smile, combat. Carrier ops. And about 15 situations worse than this one. But who's counting? Ghost emerges from the cockpit to find the 4 pilots waiting, standing at attention. Raptor, Colonel Chen, ma'am, we just want to say, Ghost, cutting him off gently. I know who you are. I heard you talking earlier. You fly F-35s out of Miramar. Viper, embarrassed. You heard all that? Ghost, every word. Flash, we didn't mean any disrespect. Ghost, there was none. You sounded exactly like every pilot I ever flew with. Confident, maybe a little cocky, absolutely in love with flying. That's exactly how it should be. Sling, ma'am, you're a legend. The things we've heard about you, Ghost, interrupting, are probably exaggerated. I was a pilot who did my job. That's all. The same job you do now. Raptor, earnestly. With respect, Colonel, that's not all. You changed how we fly. The tactics you developed, the way you pushed boundaries, we study your maneuvers. You're why some of us are alive. Ghost looks at them, really looks at them. These young pilots, so eager, so skilled, so alive. She sees herself in them 20 years ago. Ghost softly. Then do me a favor. Fly safe. Push your limits, but know where they are. Take care of each other. And remember that the real skill isn't in the flashy maneuvers. It's in bringing everyone home. All 4, yes ma'am. Flash, hesitantly, Colonel. Can I ask why you left? Why you retired? Ghost is quiet for a long moment. Outside the window, emergency vehicles are pulling back. The immediate danger past. Ghost, I didn't leave because I stopped loving it. I left because I knew pilots like you were ready. Because after a certain point, the best thing a legend can do is step aside and let the next generation write their own story. Raptor, will you come visit us? At Miramar? We'd love to have you do a talk. Share some experiences. Ghost, considering, maybe I will. It's been a while since I've been around the flight line. Viper, pulling out his phone. Can we get a photo? I know it sounds silly, but... Ghost, smiling genuinely. It's not silly. Come on. They gather around her. Jessica takes the photo on Viper's phone. 5 pilots, 4 young and eager, 1 older and seasoned, all wearing the same expression of belonging to something larger than themselves. The plane is being towed to a gate. Passengers are calm now, gathering belongings. Ghost sits in her seat, looking out the window one more time. Raptor approaches, leaning over the empty middle seat. Raptor, Colonel? I just wanted to say, earlier when I caught you in the aisle during turbulence, I knew there was something about you. Couldn't place it, but I should have known. Ghost, known what? Raptor, that you were one of us. You have the same look in your eyes, like you're always calculating angles and altitudes, even on the ground. Ghost, thoughtful, you never stop being a pilot. It gets in your blood. Even when you're not flying, part of you always is. Raptor, will you really come visit us at Miramar? Ghost, I'll think about it. Maybe it's time to stop being a ghost. Raptor grinning, fair enough, ma'am. He returns to his seat. Ghost watches the ground crew working outside, the precise choreography of aircraft handling that she knows by heart. Passengers file off the plane. Ghost is among the last to deplane. The 4 pilots wait for her at the gate. Captain Reynolds emerges from the jetway behind her. Reynolds, Colonel Chen. Wait, she turns. Reynolds, conted. The airline wants to formally thank you. They're offering complimentary flights for life. Ghost, waving it off. Not necessary, Captain. Reynolds, it's already done. And I wanted you to know that landing, with you talking us through it, was the best flying I've ever done. You made me a better pilot in 15 minutes than I've become in 20 years. Ghost, you were always that good. You just needed someone to remind you. They shake hands. Ghost turns to find the 4 pilots still waiting. Ghost, conted. Don't you all have somewhere to be? Flash, we're catching the same connection to San Diego. We've got 2 hours. Sling, would you want to grab a coffee? Tell us about Red Flag '08? Ghost looks at them, for faces full of hope and admiration. The next generation. Ghost, finally smiling fully. Coffee sounds good, but I'm buying. And fair warning, the real story is even better than what you've heard. They walk together through the terminal, 5 pilots of different generations united by the sky. Raptor, as they walk, Colonel. Is it true you once landed an F-18 with 1 engine and partial hydraulics on a carrier in a storm? Ghost, laughing. That's one of the exaggerated stories. It wasn't a storm, it was just very angry weather. Viper, what's the difference? Ghost, in a storm you can't see. In angry weather you can see just enough to know how badly things can go wrong. They laugh, disappearing into the crowd of travelers. A crowd of pilots and personnel fill the hangar. At the front, Ghost stands in flight suit, a new patch on her shoulder. Guest instructor. Behind her, an F-35C Lightning II gleams. Ghost, addressing the crowd. I'm not here to tell you how to fly. You already know that. I'm here to remind you why we fly. Not for the glory, not for the records, but for each other. For the person on your wing. For the mission. For bringing everyone home. The 4 pilots, Raptor, Viper, Sling, and Flash, stand in the front row, beaming. Ghost? Conted. Someone once asked me what it means to be a ghost. I'll tell you. It means you move through the sky like you belong there. It means you're so good at what you do that others think you can't be real. But most importantly, it means you leave something behind. You inspire the next generation to fly even higher. She pauses, looking at the assembled faces. Ghost, conted. You are that next generation. And you're going to be magnificent. Applause fills the hangar. After the formal presentation ends, mechanics wheel the stairs up to the F-35. Ghost climbs up, looks into the cockpit, and for the first time in years she climbs inside. She sits there for a long moment, hands on the controls, home again.